I'm going to welcome GiGi to the show. You're familiar with GiGi?
I am not.
GiGi Kreischer.
Oh, okay.
This is Bert's mom.
Okay.
GiGi, how are you, pumpkin?
I'm great, Michael. I guess it's one of the first times when someone calls me Bert's mom that someone's not bringing me into the principal's office. This is wonderful.
Was Bert a bad kid?
No, actually, we did not see this whole thing coming. We thought he was great. Well, Bert knew just how far to go. He liked his freedom. He liked his car. He liked the life on the road. Well, he was always on the go, and he didn't want that taken away from him. So yes, he knew not to break any laws.
The one thing I see, if I was Bert's parent, that I would love that I don't quite see in my son yet because he's so young, is Bert's excitement for life. You hope that your kid wants to go out there and just live life to the fullest. And Bert, I know that when I first met him, he was always that way, and that's got to be a great feeling as a parent.
Yeah, I think it is not lost on Al and I that so few people decide to do what Bert decided to do and earn a living at it, let alone be able to do it with such joy. And that's what, that's not lost on us because he could have, but he told us when he first went up to New York, we were talking about being famous. Bert, as a little boy, said, I want to be famous. And I'd say, well, what are you going to do? Mom, I want to be famous. I said, but you got to do something to be famous. He says, well, that's my problem. I don't know what I want to do. I just want to be famous. Yeah. And, so that went round and round. But he said to Al, because I'm far more liberal than Al. We're both pretty liberal. Right. But he said, well, Mom, Dad's a good lawyer. And he earns a good living, and he lives a good life, but he's not famous. He said, I can be a comedian, earn a good living, and live a good life, and not be famous. You have to understand that. And I thought, okay, the kid's head screwed on straight then. But we're very, very fortunate. But he does. I love the fact that you're right. He is living a great life, an absolutely great life.
He could have been an assassin and been famous, too, so glad he didn't do that. I'm glad he went the comedian route. The reason we're calling this morning is because I found out yesterday that when you can and when you do that, you sit on the board and you do some stuff, or you're a consultant with Metropolitan Ministries. And is it true you worked in the daycare center?
Yes, I was very fortunate, and this was when one of the. I think the Republican election was in Tampa. Before that, they had hired me to go in and do a week-long evaluation of the child care center. And I had worked with the child care center 30 years ago, so I thought, I'm dying to see it again. Went down, spent a week, got to know everybody, and it was in the old building. And I then saw and loved the people. I loved everybody associated with it because of their dedication. Yeah. And they oh God, here I go, oversharing. We're Kreischers.
It's all right.
They sort of reminded me of nuns because I came from a Catholic background, Catholic schools, nuns for 16 years, but they were so dedicated and so there was such love and pleasure in their dedication. I mean, they were lifers, I called them, and I just loved that about them. So I saw they did a piece in the convention about what they all do. And of course, I was down there focused on the preschool, and I had no idea the scope of services they did. Yeah. And I went back and I said, look, forget this. You didn't hire me. You got me pro bono for whatever you need. Wow. Because I thought, how can I, of all people, I've been given so much and I'm so fortunate. And these people are giving me a chance of a lifetime to learn about a demographic in our society that I had no idea what life was like for someone who struggles with poverty and homelessness. And so at that point, they were building Promised Land, and I was so lucky. I got to work with with Christine and Jamie and Janelle and all the people down there that were building the new preschool. Their preschool is state of the art. It is it really exemplifies their commitment to break the chain of poverty and homelessness, because if you want to impact the life of a family, you go to the infant and you start at infancy and work, give the child everything they need in a strong foundation, socially, emotionally, physically, and cognitively. And then when hard times hit them or when they have to deal with trauma, which they are, these families are really struggling with trauma, life trauma. When they deal with that, they have the tools. They're equipped because they got those early foundational experiences they needed.
People don't realize how important that is. It is for a kid to not have a stable foundation. There's no jumping off point after that. If you're constantly one step away from being homeless or being homeless and not being able to have that stability, it's hard to grow, and it's hard to grow out of that constant cycle of what creates that. And these people that they help, obviously, by what we're doing today and raising money, is not just for homeless people. This is for people who now who are decimated by the storm. They're for people who need assistance. And I think when I heard that you worked in the child care, that has to be the hardest thing. I am so emotionally wrought by the fact that there's homeless kids and that there's hungry kids, and that I feel like, and I'm guilty of it too, I feel like everybody could be doing a little bit more. But the fact that Metropolitan Ministries is there, it makes it a lot easier for us to say, hey, I'll just donate, I'll just help out, because they're actually doing all the work.
It's the truth. Yeah. And coming from my background, my home experience, you talk about Bert living life to the fullest. These kids are looking at their parents. Parents would love to give their children more time and attention, would love to be able to read a book, play on the floor with them. They are wondering, where am I going to get dinner? Yep. How am I going to, are we sleeping in the car tonight? Do I get a motel? Can I stay at my aunt's house? And these children are looking at what can I do to make mommy and daddy happy, because they're sad or they're struggling, and I can't even have a regular fight with my brother like we're supposed to because we're siblings, because that's going to set mommy and daddy off, or mommy, and no child should be carrying the weight of what their family is going through at young ages, and kids see these things at 7 years old. They know that mom is working 2 jobs, and they see the exhaustion, and that just crushes them. Well, today we're doing as much as we can to raise money for Metropolitan Ministries, because they constantly are helping the families here in the Tampa Bay area, and now the families that are affected by the storm. I wanted to reach out with you just to talk to somebody who has been there and who's seen it. And also, I may reach out to Bert a little bit later on and see if we can do something, a show or something. Like, too many people want money from somebody who, I don't want any money. Like last time they suckered Bert into buying a house down here for Habitat for Humanity or something. I'm thinking maybe I may need you to mother guilt him and help him, get him to do a show down here. Oh, I will tell you, Mike, you know him. He is such a soft touch for Tampa. He is a Tampa boy. And, I'm happy to mother guilt him, but believe me, he'll do anything. Now, as his mother, and as the person who knows most of the people down there, tell him to lay off half of the F-bombs, okay?
Is that what bothers you? At all the things, the shirts and all that?
No. Oh, well, God, I have wanted him to put his shirt on for years, and now I find out, my signature, Mom. And what is awful is he goes on stage, and Al and I are usually backstage if we go to see him, and he goes on stage, and, it kills me. I look out and I see these, like when he did Amelie, 12,000 people actually paid to see this nut.
Yeah.
And, I think, my goodness, isn't this bizarre? Then the football takes his shirt off and they go wild. I'm like, oh my God. He has a keg, Yeah. I mean, here's his keg, that he's unwrapping. And I'm thinking, these people are all nuts. Now I know why they came to see him. But it's really, I I think you'll have a soft. It'll be a soft sell, believe me.
All right,
but I hopefully he'll monitor her. He'll censor half of the jokes. Actually, tell the men people, just don't go see him. Just take his money, okay?
Listen, you're one of the sweetest ladies, and I appreciate you coming on today. And hopefully, it'll help us raise as much money as we can for Metropolitan Ministries and the people of Tampa. Thank you so much. Have a great day.